We're asked to find the area bounded by the curves y is equal to 1 over x and y is equal to 3 minus 2x. Right, so unlike the last problem, we don't exactly know where these cross. You might be able to guess it from the fact that I gave you the graph here, right? Probably 1 and 0.5, but you won't always know that, right? So we need to be able to find those. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to find the points of intersection, because that's going to be like our lower bound and that's going to be our upper bound. Okay, so to find our points of intersection, we're going to really just make the equations equal to each other, right? So you have like y is equal to 1 over x and y is equal to 3 minus 2x. Then we should be able to say 1 over x is equal to 3 minus 2x. Okay, because if y is equal to that and that, then they're equal to each other. Okay. So from there, to clear the denominator here, get the x out of the denominator, I'm going to multiply every term by x. So we now get 1 is equal to 3x minus 2x squared. All right, so from there I'll get everything to one side. So we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so now what's left to do is to just factor this. So you might have a different method. I like to do the factor by grouping method. Okay, so with my method, I'm going to say, okay, what numbers multiply to 2 times 1? Okay, so what numbers multiply to 2? And then add to negative 3. Okay, so in that case, that would be 2 and 1. And in order to multiply to a positive, they both have to be the same sign. So I'm going to make them negative and negative so that they add to negative 3. Okay, and then from there, I rewrite this out, but instead of a negative 3x, I'm going to use my two numbers here. So we've got negative 2x minus 1x plus 1. And here's the factoring by grouping part. So now we just factor these two individually. So now we'd have 2x, right? 2x goes into both of those, times x minus 1. And then here, all that's left to do is just to factor out this negative. So now we have negative, and we'll say negative 1. And then what's left is x minus 1. That'll always be the case, right? That you'll end up with the same factor there. So you've probably done this a ton, but I just want to go over it again. So my factors are the one that shows up twice, so x minus 1 and 2x minus 1. Okay, so that was all equal to 0. So my solutions here are x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 1 over 2, which is what we see, right? We have an x value of 1 and a half. Okay, so those are my upper and lower bounds there. Okay, so now we're ready to take the integral. So we will say the area, and I'll say from 0.5, or 1/2, to 1 is equal to, and that would be the integral from 0.5 to 1 of, and then just remember it's got to be the top function minus the bottom function. So in this case, the area that we're concerned about, the top function would be this one, right? 3x minus, or 3 minus 2x. So we've got, it'd be 3 minus 2x minus, and then my other function, right? This is, like the blue function is my bottom function here. Okay, so that would just be 1 over x. And then dx. Okay, so there's nothing much I can actually do with these terms in here, so I think we can just take the integral just now. So this would be, okay, so the 3 will become 3x, and then minus 2x to the 2 over 2, so those are going to cancel. And then minus, and then 1 over x, that is natural log of x. And it's natural log of the absolute value of x, but I don't need to worry about that too much because I'm going to be throwing in positive numbers here. Okay, so that was from 0.5 to 1. so this becomes, so our first one would be 3, and then I'm going to put a 1 in for x, minus, this was just x squared, so it would be 1 squared, minus the natural log of 1. All right. And then minus, all right, so then 3, and this would be 0.5 or a half, minus 1/2 squared, minus the natural log of 1/2. All right, so this will become, so 3 minus 1 is just 2 minus the natural log of 1. And if we think about the natural log of 1 for a second, that's the same thing as log base e of 1. So another thing, the way of saying that is like e to the power of what is equal to 1? Well, that'd be 0. So we can actually just call this 0 right now. So minus 0. And then this will become minus 3 over 2. And then plus 1 over 2. And then plus natural log of 1/2. So this becomes 2. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So negative 2 over 2 is really negative 1 times the natural log of 1/2. So 2 minus 1, oh yeah, sorry, plus natural log of 1/2. So this was 1 plus the natural log of 1/2. And there you go. So that would be our area from 0.5 to 1. So the area between the curves, the green part here.